The Marino Show. Hello, everyone. Welcome to The Marino Show. I'm your host, David Marino. And today I'm talking to actress Ilene Sullivan. She has over 20 years of experience in film, spanning several genres. I discovered her in Raven and Center City, both under the Strange Film Studios moniker, but she has a number of film credits under her name. And I'm so excited to talk to her today. Ilene, thank you so much for being on my show.
Thank you. It's my pleasure. I appreciate it so much.
When did you get into acting and what really sparked your interest in doing it?
Gosh, I would have to think that it's like way back in probably middle school. I had a wonderful English teacher who thought I should audition for, we were having various talent contests, and she thought I should do this oratorical contest with, funny enough, a poem by Edgar Allan Poe called The Raven. And I won. And I loved performing. I loved being on stage. I loved performing for the audience. And my family my parents were real into theater. We always went to see shows. We took trips to New York to Broadway. I think my dad told me when he was in the Army, he did some performing. I don't know what they did back then in the Army, but he was in some shows. And so we had all the records and we had all the interest and everything. And I would play those, funny enough, musical, which I'm not a real musical theater performer, but I just loved it, and just went from there. And then moving forward a few years, I actually was in a Shakespeare company and performed Shakespeare, and then went into Renaissance festivals throughout the Midwest, and then moved back to the East Coast and happened to just see on a Facebook post or something, somebody was casting for some people to do biker characters for a horror movie that was billed as a cross between Lost Boys, which is one of my favorite movies. And I was like, yeah, I'll come out for that. So I was cast in this film as a biker chick whose boyfriend gets eaten by vampires. It's a vampire themed movie, and that just sort of segued from the stage performances, which I did numerous stage performances throughout the area, into film. And I found that I really enjoyed the art of filmmaking and what that could bring to the forefront, as far as, I mean, they each have their pros and cons, so there's things about both of those mediums that I really enjoy, but I haven't been back on the stage since. I've just been doing films, and I love it. And as you mentioned, and thank you so much for mentioning, I do enjoy a variety of mediums. I don't necessarily want to be typecast as just the horror villain or the drama queen or the whatever. I like to feel that, because we all have things inside of us, the components that make us who we are, and we're all a little bit of everything. So why not explore all of those areas and make them come to life in film?
What do you get the most joy out of in terms of being on film? What is it about acting in these various films that just wants you to come to work every day?
Well, I enjoy tapping into those areas. So depending upon what the film is calling for. And I think I approach it from I don't know, like an organic kind of place. I know a lot of people have taken classes in all kinds of, from all kinds of people and all kinds of acting mediums and you know, how to bring the most from your character. I find when I read a part, it gets me, and I explore what it is about that gets me. So as we mentioned, so what facet of my personality can I tap into? Now, am I a serial killer? No. And am I, is it factual? No, but there are things, especially if you're a little bit older and you've lived, I think it's so important. And I think that's missing a lot too in a lot of younger performers. Um, so you have a life experience to draw from. And yes, maybe I've never murdered anyone or I've never turned anybody into a vampire, but what are those urges that bring that character to a point? You know, where can you explore that? And I find that when I get a character, and I do like doing character parts, I enjoy exploring, you know, what would this person look like? How would that person talk? What would they wear? And a lot of people feel that that's such an external thing that you're not really getting into. But for me, that's I think where it starts. And that pushes me to the internal. You know, once I can figure out, now, once I explore that and I bring that to a role, that may not be what the director necessarily has in mind, but that's my take on it. And if that needs to be tweaked or if that needs to be changed, you know, so be it. But that's where I start. For me, that's the starting point.
And you touched on something. You said you love character roles, and character actors to me are some of the most talented, some of the most dynamic. They don't always get all of the attention that, you know.
I know.
Right? I was going to say, though,
No.
for you, you know, being an actress and doing what you do, you really can approach it. And I know that the times that we're in now, it's so much, look at me, look what I'm doing, look at me, I want attention. But in that field, you know, and I respect people who are in the acting profession because it's not an easy job. And most people don't get rich off of it. You know, they're working actors. And for you, you know, what would you say to somebody out there who just wants to get into it because they want the fame and the glory and all of that?
You know what? I say, fine. I say, go for it. And if it works and if it happens, good for you. You know, I would never begrudge anybody that, you know, certainly. Do I wish it would happen? Sure. And I hope that nobody would begrudge me if that happened. So I only wish, paying it forward or whatever, that, you know, do what you want to do. Explore those options, you know, get an agent, get a manager, audition yourself off.
We talked about, just for people that are watching, we talked about language before the show, and we both tend to want to say certain things, and so we're trying to monitor ourselves.
I thought I did very well so far. But yes, certainly, I would never say to anybody, you know, don't do that.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. Because it's a different approach, I would assume, for everyone.
It is a different approach. And, you know, I have friends that are constantly on Facebook, on the platforms, and there's nothing wrong, you know, post your stuff, let people know what you're doing, let people know you're available, let people know, you know, answer those ads. Sometimes it can make you really crazy because you're always constantly trying to go to the next one and the next one and the next one and the next one. And am I good enough? And why am I not being cast? And why is so-and-so getting all the parts? And why, you know, all the hoopla and all the attention? And the profession just lends itself to, no wonder a lot of people turn to alternative things in their life to help them deal. I find that sometimes I need to take a break and step back and enjoy some of the other things that I like to enjoy in life. And that can only help you be, I think, a better actor, because you still need to experience life. You still need to, travel, go support things in your community. Help kids who are trying to, are flailing and don't know where to go, and they want to act, or they want to, be in that play. Maybe you can mentor somebody. Maybe you can give back to your community and just be a good person. Don't be cutthroat, and don't be mean. I will never be mean.
If you so much as make one sound, I will blow your heads off. The silencer will make a whisper of the shots. Do you understand?
Ma'am, you don't have to do
It would
this.
almost be therapeutic sometimes when maybe you're going through some stuff, like we all do. And then you get to play this role that maybe allows you to let go in a way that you maybe couldn't in everyday life. Do you find that to be the case?
I do from time to time. Yeah. Yeah. And that's what I was saying about tapping into, different parts of yourself, and to explore that. Sometimes it's difficult, but a lot of times it's fun and it's interesting to see where that goes. And it's helpful when you have a very generous director and a generous crew, and a kind cast. So that all helps. Nobody wants to bring forth either painful or intimate, or deep-seated emotion, depending on the part, with people who are either judging you or making snide comments. Actors deserve respect, no matter, even if it's a comedy. Whatever it is, we need to respect each other, and the work that you're putting into it, and the give and take of it. I mean, you're not acting alone most of the time, so again, it comes down to be generous, be giving, be a good person. And I think that a lot of the rest of it will follow.
Are you one of those actors that is good watching yourself, or do you not like watching
Oh,
yourself?
golly. Oh, I have a hard time with that. And I think most people would say the same thing, because you're always, looking at your performance as, oh, did I do that? Did I really sound like that? Or what could I have done? Or gosh, I wish I could have had a retake. I would have done something different, or something else just came to me. Oh gosh, if I could just do it again, I would do it this way, or something subtle, or I mean, so yeah, that happens. But at the end of the day, when it's a cut and you've run out of time, that's it. So you try. I mean, you certainly try each time and each take to give it your all and give it your best. And that's all you can do.
And like I said, I've enjoyed your performances, the ones I've
Thank you.
seen, specifically under Strange Film Studios.
War, I'm going to cancel my weekend trip and stay with you.
No, you're not. We all knew this was coming soon.
I know, but I just love you. And I'm going to really miss you. So
I'll be fine
I'm
until
going
tomorrow.
to stay.
I'll be fine till tomorrow.
Is there a certain kind of, genre that you gravitate to, or that maybe you like to watch, not necessarily act in, but is there a genre that you like gravitate towards when you're just watching films?
When I'm just home watching TV, which is 99% of the time, I like British drama.
Okay.
I do. I like all of that, Bridgerton, Sanditon, all the PBS shows. Like, and one thing about the British enclave of TV and movies that I love is that I don't know if you're familiar with a lot of that, but they use a core of actors over and over again, which is something that I was trying to aspire to gravitate to a group who would have a core of actors that they would recycle, you know, in different parts in different shows. But that's what I wanted. That's what I kind of like is that opportunity to keep working with a group that you enjoy working with, that are good quality workers, and the assurance, more or less, that you would have a part over and over again. I mean, that would be the best thing that somebody could hope for, is to do that. But I have worked with a few groups over and over again, which is nice. And I certainly appreciate that. And you mentioned Strange Films, and they are really like, they're up at the top echelon of people. Frank and August and the cast and the crew that they have, top notch all the way
Yeah,
around.
you've done several films with them. In fact, you're getting ready to do a new film, right? Called The
Yeah.
Gifted.
The
Yeah.
Gifted, right. I'm a little disappointed that I won't actually be working with the star of our upcoming show, which is Ginger Lynn Allen. And one of these days, and I hope they're all listening and watching, one of these days I'm going down to Knoxville, and I am bound and determined to work with that group down there, because I think they're fabulous.
What other films do you have, or other projects are you looking at in the future? Is there anything that you're looking at right now?
I have two coming up. Again, they are of the you know, a little bit of a darker variety. The one that is coming up, The Gifted, I have a small part in that, but I'm working on something. I'm working on something with this character that I would like to bring to this performance, and I'm not sure how much I can say or whatever. But, and then the other one is also, golly, it's also a little bit a darker short film with another group that I love working with. And this part is going to be, I would say, a cross between Little House on the Prairie meets, you know, that movie Nell, the girl in the woods?
Jodie Foster.
Yeah. So kind of that. So we'll see where that goes. More on that later.
When you look back on all of the films that you've done so far, and I'm sure it's hard to choose, but are there any that stand out to you that you really, I'm sure you want people to watch all of them, but are there a few that maybe challenged you in a different way that you didn't think they would, or that were kind of standouts in terms of your performances?
Well, I mean, I can't limit it to one specifically, but I mean, lately, I would say in the past 2 years, I was doing back-to-back films, and they were mostly of that dark genre of the creepy woman, axe wielding, murderous, late night bed and breakfast gal, or you know. So they all had that flow to them, and they were all lovely to work on. I really enjoyed. And then I really enjoyed Raven, the part I had in Raven, because it was outside of that. You know, it was just a normal person giving a normal situation, a normal character, albeit the the end scenario, you know, was a little different, but just my character itself, it was kind of nice to just play, you know, just a regular sensitive person who cared about another human being. in real time. So that was good. I really liked that.
We're seeing some more films like because of A24 and studios like that are bringing these different ideas to the masses. And that's why I like indie, because it feels like it's a place where you can explore some different things. How do you feel about that?
I agree. And I'm so happy that the indie world is getting the recognition that it deserves. Because yeah, I mean, look at the Academy Awards. They have indie films, right? I mean, it's fabulous. I mean, it's like, amen, yes, there's nothing wrong with being in and being a part of the indie film industry. It's fantastic, and it's come a long way, and it all has to do with the up and coming people, the creatives. You've got great writers, you've got great directors, and you're not, bound by certain confines, and you're a lot of times you're your own director, producer, writer, whatever. So you have that freedom, and I certainly appreciate that. And just going back to what you were saying before about films that I was in and what do I like, I will mention another film that I did that was called Knock Knock. And in the initial writing for that, my character was a male. And I proposed a gender switch. And the director said, let me see, read it. And I did. And he said, yes, we can do that. So, you have that. It's like, and more I'm seeing on posts for castings that they're not so firm in their, they'll be like, oh, so we want someone in an age range of blah, 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 or you don't have to be Caucasian, or you don't have to be a woman. I mean, it could be a, gender neutral person. Why does that character have to be a male, or why does that character have to be female? Why can't you just put, we're looking for such and such. This is what we're kind of aiming for. And let people explore that and have the freedom to bring something to it that you may not have thought in the beginning, which is kind of nice. Let actors be actors and let them show you a different side. I've read this part, but I think something else, or here's my suggestion, or why does this person have to be 18? Why does this person have to be 80? Why, do you have some wiggle room for things? And I think that's the beauty of indie filmmaking, is that there is that wiggle room, and there is, a chance for that exploration of, give it a whirl, give it something else. Don't be so pragmatic about, it has to be this way or that way. It's like, dudes, it's indie film, hence the name. It's like, come on. And I think more and more people are getting with that program, too, of just let's just see where it goes. Let's see who we have. Better to have a quality person regardless of age or gender than to struggle finding a particular age or gender, or we want somebody skinny, or we want somebody. I think that kind of stuff is really out the window these days. I mean, look at your mainstream, yeah, mainstream TV shows. Even it's like, come on, you've got everything in between. It's no more, your standard couples, your standard family shows, your standard, it's like, come on, this is the real world that we live in, with real people, flesh and blood people of all kinds. So let's incorporate them into your writings and into your field of dreams, and broaden the box there for a while,
So you've done a lot in front of the camera. Would you ever, or have you done anything behind the scenes? Would you like to direct, write? Have you done any of that yet?
I don't know about writing, but I wouldn't mind necessarily directing something. I think I could do that. I think I could, or at least if it's an episodic type of thing, it maybe direct an episode, or or work on directing, a short film. I'm not trying to say that, I could be the next whatever, but yeah, that's something I've been toying around with and thinking about. Writing, yeah, I don't think that's, although I write poetry. And actually, it's a possibility that by the end of the year, I'm going to have my book published. So that's exciting. I've been working on that. I'm toying around with a title for it, so I don't quite know what it's going to be called yet. But I do that kind of writing. But to write a script, yeah, I don't think I could do that. And I don't have any behind the camera, as you know, because I struggled to get on this. So that was about as far as I can go. But yeah, directing might be fun.
Is your book all poetry?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's great. So you said that possibly could come out at the end of the year?
By the end of the year, yeah, I do. And I do some, spoken word events throughout the area. So I've done several readings at different places. Yeah, it's not necessarily your typical flowery poetry. And I know poetry, when I say poetry, people I think a lot of times of, la da da da. And spoken word, I think, has an edgier tone to it, which is more what my work is. It's a little edgier, it's a little dark, it's a little explores around some of those dark holes and sarcastic innuendos and things. But yeah, so that's been interesting. But yeah, I mean, I look forward to all of my projects. I look forward to being cast in many, many more in many different varieties of parts.
If people want to find your work or they want to find out more about you, where can they go to find that information?
My website is accessible just from IleneSullivan.com, and Ilene is ILENE. So I tried to keep it really simple. I tried to find some sort of really cool, interesting name, and I was like, it was just way too much trouble. So just plain old me, IleneSullivan.com. So I have a website. I'm on socials, Instagram and Facebook. So yeah, I have a lot of my work is on YouTube now, so people can watch, some of those videos and some of those shorts, which are now available to be seen on YouTube. So yeah, hit me up.